Hi, my name is Dan Schmitt. This is Team Chicago Challenge. Over the next 8 or 10 minutes, we're going to show a little bit from the rock. This is Santa Fe Speedway. This is how I got involved with motorcycle racing. So they had a dedication, dedicating this rock to Santa Fe Speedway. The next few minutes, I'm going to show you some footage of racing at Santa Fe Speedway. I wouldn't even be involved with motorcycle racing if it wasn't for Santa Fe Speedway. Again, I'm Dan Schmitt. The website, teamchicago.tv, teamchicago.tv. That's my weekly TV show. We're in Willow Springs, Illinois, 91st and Wolf Road, Willow Springs, a few miles south of Interstate 55. You get off of County Line Road. We're about a mile east and a couple miles south of 55 and County Line Road. Just come by Santa Fe Speedway, one of the greatest racetracks where some of the top riders that you've ever heard of race the Santa Fe Speedway. Kenny Roberts, Eddie Lawson, Gary Nixon, Freddie Nix, Roger Riemann, Carol Westweber, some great riders. But we're going to show a little footage from Santa Fe, and we're going to talk to some of the people that are out here dedicating this in Willow Springs. Stock car racers, motorcycle racers were invited out to unveil this boulder to Santa Fe Speedway. What a great day. Santa Fe Speedway. Motorcycle racing, car racing, big events on Friday nights, stock cars, sprint cars, demo derbies, TT racing, Santa Fe Speedway. Here's one of the signs that was out on Interstate 55, exit County Line Road South. The announcer's booth at Santa Fe Speedway, some of the race cars at Santa Fe Speedway, late models, sportsmen, sprint cars. It was just great at Santa Fe as we see the starter stand and the checkered flag flying, looking at a couple of the race cars that raced at Santa Fe. I saw my first motorcycle race at Santa Fe Speedway, and I couldn't wait to get involved Wednesday nights. The thing that Santa Fe had was thousands of fans, whether it was Wednesday night for the motorcycle racing or Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night at Santa Fe. We're looking at a diagram that is short track. Professional motorcycle racing every Wednesday night. Here's a film. This is me racing on the short track. I'm on the outside, short track racing, Wednesday night. Hundreds of motorcycle racers showed up. Everybody had to qualify. And then once a month, they used the long track. They called it a half mile. It was not really a half mile, as this diagram shows you, provided by Bill Wildt from Motorsports Unlimited. This is the half mile track, still using the short track motorcycles. In fact, in this race here, fourth place in white leathers is Bill Wildt from Motorsports Unlimited, still running a 250 two-strokes, 254 strokes, and then we did go to 360 single-cylinder motorcycles, but this was considered classic racing on the long track. George Mack Classic, Patriot Classic, Pat McHenry Classics. Once a month, they ran on the long track, scoring the same points. And then 3 or 4 times a year, they ran on the TT track, as this diagram shows you, this kidney-shaped racetrack. Again, some film shot by my friend, Jesse Hernandez. This is Super 8 film. I got a good start, but as the 500 singles go swarming by, I'm running a 750 Triumph, the same 750 Triumph that's on display at this dedication. But you can see this kidney-shaped track using the infield and including a jump 3, 4 to 5 times a year. On Friday nights, they would run TT racing. They also held the TT Nationals and the Short Track Nationals on Friday night. Motorcycle racing at Santa Fe Speedway. And now Bill Wildt from Motorsports Unlimited is going to explain the two different communities racing at Santa Fe Speedway.
Santa Fe Speedway actually had two communities. There were the motorcycle people and the stock car people. Now, I am willing to bet you, of all the motorcycle people out here, how many of you never attended more than one or two stock car races? Raise your hands. Yeah, only a couple guys attended. And of all the stock car people out here, how many of you attended more than one or two motorcycle races? Okay, we got a couple more hands there. Good. The point that I'm trying to make is that in order to present Santa Fe Speedway properly, what we really have to do is have two programs. That's why we've got the stock cars on my right, I guess that would be the audience's left, and we've got the motorcycles on the audience's right or my left. And we've got guests up on the platform that speak for the motorcycle group and guests that speak for the stock car group. So in any event, I wanted to make that point before they went any further, so everyone here understand it. There's two distinct communities. Not that some of them didn't, it's not that they didn't like each other, it's just that motorcycle racers, they race here every Wednesday night. But then they'd be in Granite City on Tuesday night, they'd be in Danville on Thursday night, they'd be all over the Midwest on Saturday and Sunday, so their schedules didn't allow them to come to stock car races. And similarly with the stock car guys, they were working building their cars for the weekend and couldn't come out on a Wednesday night. It wasn't they didn't like each other, it's just two separate communities, and I think we should kind of make that clear before we bring up some of the motorcycle guys.
Thank you, Bill. And as we look at the inscription on the backside of this boulder, this memorial to Santa Fe Speedway, we are now going to talk to one of the driving forces to get this dedication together, the Mayor of Willow Springs, Illinois, Alan Nowaczyk.
Today we're here for our Santa Fe Raceway historical marker dedication. Santa Fe track operated, as you'll probably see elsewhere, from about 1953 till it closed in 1995. About 18 months ago, I was with Bob Bohonik. We're both pinstripers for the World of Wheels Brushmasters, Chicago Brushmasters, and we got just talking one afternoon after the show was closing, and Bob had mentioned his connections back to Santa Fe Raceway and how it would be nice if something was dedicated or built to remember the racetrack. So he said, what do you think about doing some type of a historical monument marker? And I said, let's do it. I think we can do this. So it started out that way, that seed, and not even a beer was needed for that. And 18 months later, here we are. So I give Bob Bohonik a lot of credit. Bob is the one that went out, helped get the artwork done, came up with some conceptual drawings of what the memorial marker would look like, and here we are today.
Thank you, Mayor Nowaczyk. As we look at this great-looking Pontiac race car, we're going to talk to the man who raced at Santa Fe, was also the track steward at Santa Fe Speedway.
My name is Kenny Keene. I've been at Santa Fe for 40 years. I had here every weekend. I probably didn't miss hardly any nights here in 40 years. I started here when I was, about 23 years old, and I had a race car for 18 years. I started with a spectator car, then I went into a sportsman car, and then into a late model car. I also ran demos, won a couple of championships in the demo cars, did very well with the stock cars. I got to a point where I'm here all the time and always working on a race car, and I told my wife I was going to retire. So I retired. I sold my race car, my tow truck, and everything that I had. Come to Howard Teat, said, give me some piddly jobs. So what happens? He says, we're going to start something new that we never did before. We're going to put a pace car on the track on the yellow flags. He says, that's a good job for you. So it turns out I ended up with being the steward for all the races and everything that happened on the racetrack, which I didn't have a clue what I was doing when I started, but it turned out we did very well. We had approximately 150 cars a night in the 4 classes, and it turned out very well. Howard died in 1990. He had leukemia, and that's what happened to our racetrack when it closed. When he died, that was basically racing was down right then, and the family, the kids, they started that when they were young kids. They were burned out. Ma was burned out. They just had enough of it, you know. And so as it turned out, that was when Santa Fe closed. So I enjoyed myself for 40 years here. Great place. I went to a lot of different racetracks. I raced at different racetracks, but this was mine. It was great.
Thank you, Kenny. And now we're going to listen to Stan Kalwazinski, a high-speed journalist and a historian on stock car racing.
My pleasure to be here today and see all these fans and former competitors here. And Bob Bohanec got a hold of me this past early in the summer and said, we'd like you to help us do this inscription on the back of this Santa Fe Speedway monument. And if you get a chance later, you can take a walk around here. And maybe this is my speech right here in front of me, what we read, or wrote, I should say. But Santa Fe Speedway, 1953 to 1995. And I guess I fancy myself as a racing historian. I can tell you, you know, who won the first championship here at Santa Fe. Kenny Boyer from Indiana won that, and I still can't remember my wife's birthday, but I can tell you Kenny Boyer. And Bill Van Allen, and track champion here many, many times, and Tony Izzo and Jimmy O'Connor and Frank Reber and John Provenzano winning those National Clay Track Championships here for many, many years. And Johnny Kapovich won a 200-lapper here back in 1955. And I know all this stuff. Worthless information, my kids call it. But as far as Santa Fe Speedway and the Chicagoland racing community, I think it's very, very important and a great honor to have this monument here. I mean, when was the last race here held? 1995. It's almost 20 years. And now we have a monument. And one other thing in closing, how many remember the old WLS jingle, the Santa Fe Speedway? There's only one speedway, it's a track of clay. You ain't seen nothing till you've been to Santa Fe, racing on a track of clay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stan. As we see some racing action from the long track at Santa Fe Speedway, we're going to talk to one of my oldest friends, a man that I raced with at Santa Fe Speedway, and he's on the board of the AMA, the American Motorcyclists Association.
Hey, my name's Jim Viverito, and I'm really happy to be here today at the dedication of the Memorial Rock for Santa Fe Speedway at 91st and Wolf Road here in Willow Springs. Santa Fe was a very special place. A lot of historic motorsport happened here at Santa Fe, and to me personally, the motorcycle racing was what it was all about. I got an opportunity to hang out with my heroes and made lifelong friends, guys like Dan. And I'm very proud to have represented the AMA, the American Motorcyclists Association, here today, which sanctioned the motorcycle races at Santa Fe Speedway. And thanks Dan for the opportunity to say a little something here for Team Chicago Challenge.
Thank you, Jim. And Santa Fe Speedway was the birthplace of Team Chicago. I got Howard Teet to come up with an extra $300. And in 1977 and 78, we had an extra race called the team race.
Next up, Dan Schmitt. Dan was one of the motorcycle racers at Santa Fe for many years. He is displaying his custom chassis 750 Triumph set up for the TT racing, which he raced many times for Santa Fe TTs. His friends tease him that it probably still has Santa Fe Speedway clay on it. I would agree. In addition to being a racer, Dan created something at Santa Fe that, among other things, he's going to tell us about, something called Team Chicago Challenge. Dan, thank you.
Thank you. And I want to thank everybody that came out today. It so was great to see old fans, and whether you're the car people or the motorcycle people, we were all racing people, and that was great. But anyhow, back in the mid-'70s, and I got to know Howard Teat, which was wonderful, but I convinced them to come up with some extra money for an extra race. We do it every week. I'll put it together. I'll organize it. And one week, Team Chicago would race Team Michigan. One week, we'd race Team Indiana. One week, Team Wisconsin. And I started promoting that. And as you can see in the back of the tent there, I got some promotional material. You can help yourself to it. But the concept was, back in those days, if you did not have teams, we didn't get the TV coverage we should have had. When you consider the great racers that were out here, whether it was Freddie Nix, Kenny Roberts, Gary Nixon, all these great racers every Wednesday night, and we got no coverage. So I thought we could get the media to finally cover motorcycle racing. And that's where the team thing came from. We only did it for 2 years. It was pretty successful as far as getting the newspapers to write articles, as far as the results being put in the Tribune and the Sun-Times. And out of that, I created a TV show that I called Team Chicago Challenge. I've gone on and raced under the name Team Chicago, won a couple of championships. And I've had a great time, and it all began right here at Santa Fe Speedway. Look around, how many great motorcycle racers, how many people just tried racing Santa Fe. It was a wonderful occasion for everybody to come out here Wednesday night and once in a while on a Friday night for a TT. But it was great, and I'm just so happy to be here, and I want to thank each and every one of you guys for coming out here. And this rock, I hope thousands of people travel into Willows Springs and see what happened back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. Thanks again, Mayor. As we look at some racing action, 1971 on the long track, Santa Fe Speedway, number 55 is Neil King, 54 is Robert E. Lee as they battle in this heat race. And announcing was Jan Gabriel. And now my late great friend Jan Gabriel will wrap it up and tell us about the greatness of Santa Fe Speedway.
Everybody played a role. Everybody was a different personality, brought a little something different to the races at Santa Fe Speedway. And there will never ever be anything like those Wednesday nights at Santa Fe. You'll never see that again anywhere at any time. So if you have a little piece of that somehow, a photograph, a piece of film footage, a poster, anything, treasure it, because they were, in fact, very extraordinary times.
Thank you, Jan. And as we watch this wheelie contest, it was a Wednesday night at George Mack Classic. During the intermission, they had a wheelie contest. Special thanks to Bill Wildt, Motorsports Unlimited, MSUTV.com. Thanks for the video footage, Bill. And thanks for tuning in. TeamChicago.tv, WalkWithDan.com, Santa Fe Speedway, Extraordinary Times.